This is a Delia Smith's chocolate bread and butter pudding. I've never made this before, so we're going to be learning and making together. The list of ingredients is not that long. The main thing obviously for this is going to be the bread, and I'm not using pre-sliced bread. I've actually purchased some an uncut loaf. So what Delia calls for is 9 slices of bread with the crust removed. So that makes your squares round about 4 inches by 4 inches, and then she asks you to cut those into half. So you would end up with 18 triangles of bread. My bread, as you can see, is not triangular. I don't think it really matters. It's got to fit into your bowl. And I've counted it out, and I've got round about 20 slices because they're a little bit smaller than 2 inches by 2 inches each piece. So whichever you use, it doesn't really matter. I think by the time it all gets put into the bowl and squashed down and then covered in the mixture, it's going to sort of soak all that mixture up and almost become one. So anyway, so what ingredients do we need in addition to the bread? So going through this in order, we need some good quality chocolate, and you need 5 ounces, which is 150 grams. You then need 15 fluid ounces of 425 millilitres of heavy whipping cream, and you need 4 tablespoons of dark rum. I don't have any dark rum, so I'm using whiskey. I think chocolate whiskey is going to go together just nice, so I don't see a problem with that. You need 4 ounces, which is 110 grams of caster sugar, and 3 ounces, which is 75 grams of butter. And then the last thing we need for this at the moment is a good pinch of cinnamon. And then the final thing we're going to do is add 3 eggs. So what we're going to do, all these ingredients here that we've got on the board at the moment, we're going to melt and combine together. Now this is absolutely critical, and I will mention it again multiple times, so I do apologise, but if you let the bowl that you put this in touch the water that's simmering, it will split the fat out of the chocolate. I know this from experience, I've done it myself, and it completely ruins the recipe. You cannot recover it. So it is absolutely critical that you do not let the bowl touch the water. So what I've done here is I've measured and I've done a test that if I put my bowl in and then I bring it out, there's no water on the bottom of that bowl, so the depth of the water is not going to touch this bowl. So you let the ingredients come together naturally. But if the bowl touches the water, you will split your chocolate. Okay, so over a pan of barely simmering water, I've got all the ingredients measured in there. That's the butter, the sugar, the chocolate, the cream, and a pinch of cinnamon. And you very, very slowly, don't rush this. And as I said before, do not let the bottom of this bowl touch the water. and very slowly it'll heat up, and the butter and the chocolate will melt, and that's what we're after. We're after a nice smooth mixture. We do not want the fat and the cocoa in the chocolate to split out, otherwise it never goes back together. You just end up with an awful mess. So you're better off taking your time over this. Don't rush it. Certainly don't microwave it. We don't want to overheat this. You've got to do it over a pan of barely simmering water and let it take its time. Okay, so that took around about 7 or 8 minutes to get all the everything melted. I was a little bit worried about. I thought maybe I'd split this chocolate, but actually, when I feel it, it's not split at all. That's just cocoa, I think. So I think that's okay. So you just need to add your eggs to this mixture now. So the first thing you do is give this a really good stir. Make sure that there are no lumps left in there, but I'm pretty sure that everything's dissolved. And then the next thing to do is add the eggs. So you want to do this fairly quickly, and you want to use a whisk, because we don't want to scramble these eggs. We want to make sure everything's mixed together. Now that we've made the chocolate custard mix, I guess it is, we assemble it. So this is the bread that I cut. As I say, you might be using triangles. If not, this will work fine, I'm sure. So what we've got to do, we've got to put about ½ an inch of the custard mixture into a bowl. Now I'm using my trusty old pie dish. You could use a cake pan, but I don't think it wants to be too. Tall. Delia recommends about 9 inches by 7 inches by 2 inches deep. This is almost that. It's a little bit over 9 inches, a little bit less than 7 inches. And then you want to arrange bread into this custard mix, and you want to slightly overlap it. For the corner, and then we gently put the custard over again. Go too much. We don't want that. You can see that bread starting to float away in there, so we have to be careful of that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to arrange the bread the opposite way around this time. Gently put the remaining custard in. Delia's recipes are perfect. You can see there on the in the pan there's just enough custard mixture to cover the bread. So as I say, in Delia we trust. So that's it done. So what Delia recommends now is we let that cool, and then it's going to go into the fridge, and she says a minimum of 24 hours before you're going to eat it, preferably 48. So you need to make this a day or two in advance. Okay, so we're not quite ready to put it in the fridge. This is why you should always read your recipe twice before you get there. So we're not quite finished. What we have to do next is we take a fork, and as you can see, we floated in the chocolate mixture. So we just got to gently press that down as it cools, so that we're fully soaking this bread in the custard. That tastes amazing. When the pudding has cooled a little bit, we're going to cover this with cling film, and then we're going to leave it for 2 hours at room temperature before we transfer it to the fridge. And it sits in the fridge, as I say, for 24-48 hours before we bake this in the oven. So it's best to plan ahead.